What type of survey should I go for? This is one of the most common questions we are asked by our clients when they're buying a new home. So let's find out. Hi, welcome. My name is Mohammed Ahmed. I'm the founder and managing director of Pinnacle Finance UK. Welcome to episode 6 in a series of videos where we talk everything property and finance. Today we're exploring the 3 types of surveys. Okay, now first of all, let's talk about the difference between what is considered a survey and what isn't considered a survey. Okay. Now, in the commercial world, we call this a red book valuation. Red book valuation is a formal valuation that can be relied upon by the instructing party. These are often carried out by a RICS qualified surveyor. For those of you who don't know, RICS literally stands for the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. Okay, so someone who's got the degree and qualified and is certified to give a formal opinion that can be relied upon by the lenders. Okay, in comparison, when we look at estate agents, they give what we call market appraisals. Okay, these are not the same. Okay, market appraisal is what the local estate agent believes it's worth, and quite often it's not very reliable because they're going to give the instructing party, often the seller, a price that they want to hear, just so they can get the instruction and put it on the market. So therefore, for that reason, it's not always a very reliable. I say always because there's a lot of my friends out there who are estate agents who probably kill me for this. So yeah, this is not a across the board, but as a rule of thumb. Okay, so let's talk about what are the 3 types of valuations that you can get done. Number 1, okay, this is what we call a basic mortgage valuation. Again, I'm going to refer to a residential scenario here, people who are buying a normal residential house. Okay, it's very similar to the commercial world, but we will talk about commercial lending, all things commercial a bit later on in the series. Okay, so a basic mortgage valuation is when the lenders are sending out a surveyor, a RICS qualified surveyor, really just to determine 2 things. Number 1, is it the right price? In other words, the client who's buying the house, they're about to lend X amount of money on this property, let's just say they're about to lend £100,000, is that property worth £100,000? Okay, very simple, number 1. Number 2, is the property good security? Now, what I mean by that is, let's be frank, lenders, all they really care about is their money and their security, which is the property. Okay, and all they want to know is, okay, is the security safe? Is it going to fall down tomorrow? So what they're looking for, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to try and keep this video short. But if you want to find out more, feel free to comment below or contact us directly. So the common things they look out for is structural issues. Has the property suffered from subsidence or ground movement? Anything structural? Are there any damp issues, which is a very common one? And why these things matter, especially damp, often overlooked by a lot of our clients. I can, again, if you want to know more, let me know in the comments and I'll do a separate video on that. So that, in a nutshell, is a basic mortgage valuation. The real benefit of that is for the lender. So quite often, a lot of high street lenders will offer the client a free basic mortgage valuation. And very often, they don't provide a copy of the report to the buyer because it's for their benefit, not for the client. So all they really want to know is it the right price and is it structurally sound? Okay, so let's talk about level 2. Okay, now level 2 is what we call a home buyer's report and valuation. Now, that is a lot more in depth. Okay, by comparison, the level 1 mortgage valuation, the surveyor will go in there, spend no more than about 5 or 10 minutes and produce a report, usually about 3 or 4 pages long. A home buyer's report is, they'll probably spend anything between 45 minutes to an hour or longer in the property, and the report is often 20 plus pages long. Okay, now they'll go through everything. They'll look at the skirting board, they'll look at the electrics, the piping, the boiler, the roof. They'll look at everything and then they'll mark it down quite often in a traffic light colour. So red, amber and green. So green obviously means no concerns, nothing to worry about. Amber usually means, okay, we have a bit of concern here, so we might ask you to take some advisory measures. And a red literally means, right, you need to get this looked into in a bit more detail. Now, here's the thing. A solicitor, from a legal point of view, will always recommend a home buyer's report. For the simple reason is the home buyer's report is for your benefit, okay, not for the lender's benefit necessarily, okay. Now, what does that mean in practical terms in real life? Very simply put, if you went for a basic mortgage valuation report and let's just say for argument's sake the roof was faulty and it was about to fall in and it wasn't picked up by the surveyor initially, okay, and you completed, you got the keys, you moved in, 6 months later the roof fell in. Now, although obviously your buildings insurance should cover you for that, there's not a lot you can do by way of suing the surveyor, okay, because that report wasn't for your benefit, it was for the lender, okay. And as part of a mortgage lender's mortgage offer contract is that you've got to have buildings insurance in place, okay. Now, a home buyer's report is for your benefit, and therefore from a legal point of view it's going to go into a lot more detail. And in that same scenario, if the roof was to fall in, you could then sue the surveyor and say, hang on a minute, I paid you money to look at my property, why didn't you pick this up at the time? So then that leads on to a slight disadvantage. Because of that very reason, and the surveyors are almost scared and they need to protect themselves and cover their backs, very often they would actually almost put down quite a lot of things, almost everything, as an amber or a red, okay. Let's just say, for example, let's take the electrics. They might say, we have reason to believe the electrics are old and dated. Well, anything more than 6 months old is going to be dated because the regulations are changing so often. So then they'll say, well, please inspect a qualified, please instruct a qualified electrician to come out and do an inspection. Same for a boiler, for example, or a builder, or asbestos, or whatever it may be, okay? So what you end up with is getting 10 different surveyors or 10 different professionals individually coming out and looking at the property, which adds more time, more pressure, more cost to your home buying process. Is it worth it? Well, that depends, okay? It really depends on A, what attitude you have towards the risk, number one, and number two, the property itself. So obviously, take a bit of a common sense approach. If you look at the property and you think, right, okay, well, it's a traditional build, 1940s, semi-detached, I'm buying it, it needs modernising, I'm going to cut it all out, I'm going to plaster it, rewire it, new kitchen, new bathroom, flooring, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you're going to do that anyway, then really is there a need for the home buyer's report? Perhaps not. If you're buying a brand new home, you're going to get a 10-year NHBC warranty. Is it really necessary? Perhaps not. But again, there's no right or wrong on this, guys. It's your choice, literally your choice. Okay. And then the third one, level 3, okay, is what we call a full structural engineer's report. And this is where the surveyor will go in and look at the skeleton of the property. So they're looking at the real structural property. Now, quite often, this is only done when the initial survey goes out on the level 1 and says we have reason to believe the property has previously suffered or is currently suffering from subsidence or structural issues. Please instruct a qualified structural engineer to come out and inspect the property. And so they do, they come out, they look at it all, and then they'll give you a report and give you any remedial works that needs to be done to the property. Okay, so in summary, level 1 is your basic mortgage standard valuation for the benefit of the lender. Level 2 is your home buyer's report, which is really for your benefit, giving you that legal protection and that peace of mind. Okay, and level 3 is a more structural report, if necessary, looking at the skeleton of the property. It goes without saying, obviously, the higher the levels you go up, the more expensive they are. Right, I hope you all found that useful. We was actually dealing with a client recently who actually went through this very process. The lender's surveyors did a desktop valuation. The client wasn't convinced, so he paid for a home buyer's report. which picked up some structural issues, and then we went for the third structural engineer's report, which confirmed that there aren't any issues. So thankfully, he's able to now complete on his transaction with the peace of mind knowing that it's all fine, and he's going to be able to get building insurance on it as well. So that all worked out very well for the client. Like I said, guys, that's the 3 types of surveys. Okay, feel free to comment, leave your thoughts, in the comments below. As always, if we can help you with anything, feel free to get in touch. The usual number, which should be on your screen now, 0800 799 9869. That's 0800 799 9869. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.